Alrighty, hey, this is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon, Flat Earth Homeland. We'll try not to do any lectures tonight, or bunny trails, or diatribes, or soapbox rants, because I got a early day tomorrow for me, so I can't belabor this. But I got started on something. It began with this video here, and went from there. And there's going to be several things that are going to come out in this video. One is a statement I made the other night. Leave no stone unturned when you're doing research. Okay? The sequence of what you're about to see is, to me, not beyond, synchronicity, providential, amazing, the connection of answered puzzles, answers to questions and just possible answers, and just the connection, interconnectivity of things. You'll see. If I say more than that, I'm just going to blather and you won't even know what I'm saying. So I will not blather anymore. I detest blathering, the empty speaking of words. Have something to say. This guy here and his little guy here, I don't know, he looks pretty skinny. His wife's real small. I don't know him from Adam. I don't know their names or nothing. Out in the country, YouTube channel. Don't know what state this is. No idea. You can give me your best guess, or if somebody knows. They just bought, this is their third property tour, and they bought the place. I don't know how many acres. I'm guessing 5. That's just a silly, wild-ass guess on my part of swag. I don't know. Maybe they mentioned it. This video brings back memories of home. 4 years of home. Now, they did good. They got a 2-car garage with a port out front. That's pretty cool. I'm assuming that's their garage. He's pointing to the mobile home. They bought a mobile home also. So they bought a mobile home to live in and a garage to park their stuff in and do shop in. Maybe there's other outbuildings. I don't know. Don't care. The next thing they got. Bingo. Out in the country, name of the channel. They bought a 100-plus-year-old schoolhouse. Now, when I tell you why that brings back memories to me, we lived for 4 years in a schoolhouse. 10,000 square foot. This thing looks tiny. You could fit about 4 or 5 of these into the school we lived in. 10,000 square plus feet. Full court gymnasium. The stage was probably easy 500 feet. Dressing rooms on either side. Basement. There was a crawl space under the gym. There's a crawl space. I'm just memories. My son actually did the tunnel. There was a tunnel from the gym to the main part of the building under the gym. There was a basement in the gymnasium. That's right. There were locker rooms down there. Yep. Locker rooms. Okay. Thought there was, yeah. Wonder if we left anything down there. Oh, it's only been 5, 10, 15 years ago. Forget it. Okay. Stop it. Drink more water. So, we had a lot of huge 4-car shop garage, for auto mechanics teaching. So this is pretty cool. Now, here's the thing that where it all started off with. A guy made the comment about the tower, and I was like, oh, tower, cooling tower, passive solar, if it's on the south side, which it probably is. Although, it's going to shut off. Nah, I know it now. I can tell when it's going to shut off. The refrigerator. Trees in the way, and that looks like certainly looks to me like a pine tree, but I can't quite tell because it's not clear. But anyway, if it isn't passive solar, you could use heat up there to create updraft draw, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If it was a bell tower and it's all internal, wow. dehydration system, laundry, drying, and actually told him, I says, if you believe in the integrity and ingenuity of Scripture, and if you've ever read about the book of Daniel and Daniel's three friends, Azariah, Hananiah, and Mishael, that's their real names, the Hebrew names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was the Babylonian names. So, anyway, in that story, the king wanted them to eat his dainties and his meats and dainties. And they said, how about not? We don't eat pork. We don't want to eat that stuff, empty carbohydrates, and GMO food. They didn't want to eat all that garbage. They said, do a test, 10-day test, and see how we do. And at the end of the 10 days, they ate their pulse, P-U-L-S-E. And at the end of the 10 days, they were tested, and they were 10 times wiser than the king's wise men. He goes, okay, eat your pulse. So anyway, that's a pulse machine there. It could be possible. Just throwing it out there. Guy cracked a code on that, and he's not, I said that before, he's not sharing it with anybody, which really sucks. We're going to go full circle here. You'll see, this is just mind-boggling to me. So, all right, rather than tip any hands here, I'm going to pause. All right, we are going to talk about chopping wood with shovels and building shelters. We're going to talk about the many uses for a shovel/entrenching tool. One of those uses being the digging of a stealth cooking campsite heating hole, aka the main thing is called is a DFH, Dakota Fire Hole, burn that into your mind. Stealth fire. This video is by a really neat kid, British, has some interesting twists of language, shall we say, and great humor. He says, well, you could do this way, but by the end of the time, you'd probably want to kill yourself, bloody mate. You'd probably want to kill yourself, whatever, So, Alfie Aesthetics, you can see it up there in the top left, 1.5 million views. I've got videos on Dakota fire holes, and they've got, I forget, pushing a bunch of views. I don't know, I remember. I don't get it out very often. It's on the Jerry Diamond channel. What is the world? Oh, geez, come on. Okay, now I've got to click something here. And then, there we go. Another use for it is Dakota fire hole / rocket stove heating system, which is what I propounded in my videos. You could heat a cardboard box with a Dakota fire hole underground trench using the earth as a thermal mass rocket stove, thermal mass heater, TMH, thermal mass heater. Burn that into your mind, remember it. This is Survival Lily. She is, I would say, far and away the best. I wouldn't say probably. She is far and away the best woman survival bushcraft person out there. Survival Lily, 1.5 million views. Golly gee whiz. She posted this years after my videos. Oh well. And she screwed it up. She didn't even do it right. She dug 2 tunnels and had smoke in her teepee. Plus I wrote her a whole bunch of instructions telling her how to do it correctly, blah, blah, blah. But hey, she's cuter than me. And she's got a lot more money than me. And a lot more technical savvy than me. I mean, this little girl walked into the Steyr Mannlicher factory or whatever, their showroom floor, and bought herself a Steyr Mannlicher. If you don't know what that is, I actually pulled the trigger on one. My buddy in the Vietnam vet had one. It had a double set trigger. You pulled the front trigger, and then the back trigger was your actually firing trigger. Once you pulled that front trigger, I'm fairly certain that you could breathe and fire it. Hair trigger. So she bought one. Who knows? $5,000. I guess she's doing okay on YouTube. So anyway, you can see she's got some clay tiles there, and she's a really good concept, but she could have done just a wee bit of research before she did it and done it right instead of screwing it up. But oh well. In this video, this is what got me going, was several things here we're going to deal with is sanitation, safety, and all that. And she did a review in this of her, she's holding in her hand there, the 5-Joy shovel. This is a cold steel, and it's a good shovel, but it's not anywhere near as versatile as the 5-Joy. The guy that I just covered, the TA Outdoors, another British guy, he reviews it, and he, very, very good review of it. I mean, bang up review. He chopped wood with it without destroying it. It's got fire starter, all kinds of stuff in it. I mean, just steel, ferrocerium rod, good knife that you can shave with right out of the package. Just really a fabulous weapon with extension handles where you can get about, I think it's a 48-inch, 4-foot long. So it's a one heck of a fabulous tool, and I would highly recommend it. Far more versatile and far more stuff than the cold steel. Now the cold steel is totally different. This is a premier weapon. Sharpened on all 3 sides, as is that one. That's a very high grade steel. The guy said Canadian Pepper. I'm going to hit his video next. Very hard to sharpen. Very, very high quality steel. So let's see what else I want to say about her. Good videos, really good videos, especially for women. I mean, that is, of course, assuming that all things being equal and whatever. No further comment. The Stephanie Margaret is another one. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, she's a guy," whatever. And she's goofy. She does a lot of outdoor stuff, but she's not. Billy helps her a lot. I think she's kind of a tag along, just supposedly out in the woods in Sweden or wherever, which is a good place for women to be in Sweden, so they don't get gang raped, murdered by a frickin' refugees. This is off a Canadian Prepper, and I think that's the direction we're going here. So there's other designs like this. This one's $120. Okay, long handle, the T handle there across the top, high intensity flashlight, all kinds of other goodies. But basically, it's the same idea. And Nate says probably there's going to be a whole bunch of these out here, and they will be knocked off and everything. So buy the best, forget the rest. If you're going to buy one, do your research and probably buy the 5-Joy. That they have 2 different ones, but buy the good one. This one looks like it's the same design, same quality and stuff, but who knows? Okay, so yeah, let me just flip through this real quick. Yeah, I should have done that the other direction, and I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and that's where we're going. I started off with, I think it was a female urinary device. I wanted to touch on those again, not touch on them, but deal with it. But anyway, 5-Joy military folding shovel, multi-tool, blah blah blah, tactical entrenching case. It's got a protective sheath for the blade. It's got a sheath for everything. The tubes the slots there you see are, pouches for each individual handle piece. The handle's adjustable in several different, you can see 85 degrees there, different angles, different colors of cases. Maybe that's a camo one there, 20 inches, 27 inches, 34 inches. I'm just going to go through this. You do your own research. BYOR, bring your own research. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, people start showing up here. You better have some of this stuff. You better have had it, because if you don't have it, you might not be here. We'll see why in a little while. Lightweight power. You need tools. You need certain things, and you need a business. And that's one thing we're going to touch on is you need to have something to do and a way to make money, and you can invest very little amount of money in some things and have, here, I'm going to just show you this microfiber cloth. Just got to get something over my, a little bit of insulation back there. Okay. That's, you know, that cloth is what you can make auto socks out of. Sandals. All-in-one multi-tool, dig, peel, chop, start a fire, axe, scale. You got me on that one. Whether it's scale for measuring. Looks like they're shaving. I don't know. Bottle opener. Gotta have that one. Yeah, right. Whistle. This is TA Outdoors. British accent guy. Building a shelter, and he says the ultimate survival tool. This thing is a beast. And he starts up by saying, when the zombie apocalypse comes, I will have this. I can deal with it, or something like that. You know, pretty cute. He's really whacking that thing. Look at his tongue hanging out of his head and his neck all knotted up. I mean, and you see it sideways. Well, there's a axe, a splitting thing. It's a Norwegian design where it actually does that. It actually deliberately splits sideways. And there's a girl online where she shows you how to split wood with an axe, and she has a wrist motion where she flips it. So flipping sideways like that, not a bad thing. And that you can see the two pieces of wood. I mean, he went clean through them and popped them. You know, what he's like on the rebound there or something. I don't know where it bounced off, but it split the piece of wood. This is Nate, Canadian prepper, only 34,000 views. Must be a brand new one for him. Incredible modular shovel multi-tool. Okay, shovel backcountry uses. Okay, dig a well, trenching, booby traps, flood management, micro terraforming, shelter construction, winter shoveling. Yeah, just move the old ugly guy over there. All right. All right. Bam. Bam, 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 bam. All right. Booby traps, flood management, micro terraforming. And flood management meaning, you know, if you're building an underground shelter or something, you need to do your drainage, and, you know, you can do it with this. You're going to see that in a while. I mean, this is crazy. Okay, shelter construction, winter shoveling, traps, caching gear, food storage, root cellar, dig a latrine, toilet, dig for roots, cordage, dig for wild edibles, concealed fire, Dakota fire hole, climbing aid, pickaxe, weapon, self-defense, survival supplies stored inside grappling hook, chopping, batoning. Batoning is when you have a knife. You take your knife and you're going to make kindling. So you have a piece of kindling, you put your knife on it, and then he would use this as a hammer to tap it. But, you know, as Nate says, batoning is, chopping with an axe is an idiocy. He totally and absolutely believes in the Japanese silky saws. Much faster than bow saws, just far faster than about anything. Just about as good as a chainsaw. Manual, quiet, don't fire it up, not making any noise. You start chopping on stuff and you can be heard for 5-10 miles, you know. I mean, the ringing and the hammering, you're just totally giving away your position if you're in a stealth situation. So, not intelligent. Use a quiet cutting system. And if you got to make kindling, do it something other way than beating on it. Who needs to make kindling? Just go out and get it. Use a saw to get small pieces, you know. Quiet. Okay. Machete cutting tool. Multifunctional. Been there, done that. Already covered it. Lily covered it. Okay, Dakota fire hole. And what's next? I don't know. It's a surprise. It's not working. There we go. Okay. Now, digging. Because I did shovel, and this comes up. Now, not my, you know, I wasn't looking for this, but I've never seen it before, as much as I've done it, as many times as I've looked at shovels. How to make a Marine Corps fighting hole. That could come in handy if, say, bullets were flying. Military, if they're out on a patrol and they're, you know, wherever, this is just what they're trained to do. If they come to a pause and they are, you know, 15 minutes, they're digging. You never know. And you can see what he's doing there. You know, he's got a man-sized hole, got a berm up around it, and you'll see the there level, cleaned away from it. So that builds it up higher, gives you a little place to set things, stove, you know, your gear, whatever, water bottle, maps, rifle, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He did all that with the military, U.S. military, well, allegedly, supposedly. You don't see another shovel in here at all. He's always digging with it. And it's good enough dirt he could have done it, and he probably did, because he was a Marine. He's not an ex-Marine. There's no such thing as ex-Marines. They're just former active duty Marines. They're still a Marine. You never run across a Marine, don't call them an ex-Marine. They're not. Don't tread on me. Okay, even down to showing you how to do a sump for water, and it's not technically the correct sump for grenades, but let's say somebody did happen to toss a grenade in there, you can drop, in other words, the sump goes down, it's leveled, so if anything that goes in there, you kick it and it goes down at an angle and it's got a blast hole, but that would be better than nothing. Basically, this is for water collection. She's showing you how the width of it, 6 inches, at least 6 inches, a foot deep. So that way, if water does come in, it's going to go in there and not totally muck up the bottom of the trench, the foxhole. Pretty awesome stuff there, I'm telling you. Next, so then I see this and I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. An underground house, I kid you not. These two kids built this from nothing. Did it all with, I don't know what they use for digging. I don't see any, it's all primitive stuff, all primitive tools. I mean, you know, the handmade rake and everything. So pretty awesome. I mean, this just fascinated me because, you know, what I saw in my, vision 18 years ago was an underground house. It was invisible from above. So this is like, got my attention like right now, you know, like big time. So this is their an entryway. They had a log in there that is, just a hollow log. At one point they showed rolling it in there, just part of it, you know, kind of as a structural support. They're doing cob. I mean, it's clay, wattle, and daub, basically, technically. It's bamboo framework with grass, thatch stuff, and then covered over with cob. So that's wattle and daub, basically the old Welsh and Scottish system also. You can see there he's the framework, wicker, bamboo, whatever you could use, but bamboo in their case. And you strip the bamboo and you make your lashings out of it. And they're packing it with they're making basically the cob mixture there in the bottom left is cob is clay, sand, and straw, which also gave me the idea that, hey, you know, they did it there. You know, I mean, Missouri's is very wet, but that's a jungle climate. And you'll see different things. This is not, I don't remember. There you can see down inside. Yeah, that's it. So they dig around the upside of it, on the outside, to make a trench for water runoff. There you can see it better in the left there. They do all the way around that. Now they could have packed rock in there just to make a, like a drainage system, and maybe they did, I don't know, but then later you see them, now at this point they're packing it with cob and smoothing it and making it like a gutter, actual, and then they fire harden the whole thing, so it is hardened. And would stand up to some rain, and it would take constant patching, but it could stand up to quite a bit. Here he's making a framework and a bamboo system for a window, I guess, smoke hole. I'll just go through these. Pretty, I mean, just absolutely fascinating. The amount of time that they put into this is, oh my gosh, Just really a work of art. Now there you can see that they've cobbed down around the outside there, so there could be a drainage. This is obviously their little cap they're making. This is their exit hole, escape hole, rabbit hole, or smoke hole. Fresh air, obviously, ventilation, main thing. But it could be a smoke, hole. And now this got interesting. Are they going to do a thatch lid? They actually shows them making a door. This is it, I think. Anyway, I figured out pretty quick. They're making covering a door. Now, at this point, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dakota fire hole underground. I don't know what all of this has been fire hardened here, this big square thing. Whether that's going to be like a cob oven, or I can't think two young kids would be doing a lot of roasting turkeys and stuff. That thing is huge. But what this put to mind immediately was pulse, underground tunnel going between from the square thing over to the round thing, and I don't know. It gave me all kinds of ideas because I saw one time a Mongolian yurt, and it had an intake on one side, an exit on the other, and it didn't explain it. It was just a sketch drawing, but it just instantly gave me all kinds of ideas. You know, you put a chimney on one side where you have keep it warm and heat, or have it in the sun on the south side. It's going to stay warm. It's going to draw air in from the other side for cooling, or, you know, do it the opposite. Get a fire going on one end and have it, the taller stack is going to draw hot air in under there. So heating and cooling, you know, just natural heating and cooling both through the ground. And the pulse machine for, you know, negative dehydration, negative barometric pressure dehydration, which is basically what pulse is. Sucker makes the stuff and sells it still. He's got 7 different flavors or types of pulse, and highly protected technology, even though God gave it to him free. Kind of irritating. Not kind of irritating, extremely irritating. But she's signing a lot of people's death warrant. See, there's holes poked in there. There's evidence of fire. Yeah. So it doesn't go down. It doesn't go down very far. Whether that's a cooling system, now it's down further, I don't know. Just whatever. Here they're just fire hardening it. I'm going to skip through these. Good photography. I mean, 2 kids. Who the heck's doing their stuff? I mean, phenomenal stuff. This is an above ground mud hut, whatever you want to call it. Cob, wattle and dauber, with windows in it. Okay, and they're back to that. So there you go. So the point of that is that, you know, leave no stone unturned. As I was, not that this was, I didn't dig on this. It just came, ha ha ha. No pun intended. You know, there was a contest. You know, they're going to give the thing for the best pun, and this guy wrote 10 of them. You know, they're all great. You know, I win one of them, but no pun intended. So he didn't win nothing. So I wasn't really digging for this, but it just came up. I mean, it was just like, this was just like one little wow, aha moment after another. And like I said, it started off with the school. And a guy in the comment section commented on the tower, and I just immediately, so I wrote on the video for here, out in the country, I wrote on it. I said, hey, you know, that tower could be, you know, a dehydration system, a clothes drying system, you know, smoking operation, you know, just in a pulse factory. Because it looks like it's all internal. It's not going to be external. There's probably a bell tower, and from the upper floor, there's a, you know, I'd imagine I think I saw it from another shot. It looks like there's windows on all 4 sides, as well as obviously an outpost, you know, watchtower, you know, in a shit hit the fan situation, and sniper posts and whatnot. So pretty dang cool, and a solid building. If you sandbagged it, I'm just gonna, don't get me started on that. I lived with a Vietnam vet for 4 years. What can you say? It's not my fault. Always the gymnasium. It wasn't a gymnasium. It was a you know, a full bore firing range for 308. You know, not a problem. The bullets will not get out. This thing was steel, concrete, tile, brick, and stone. All right. Let's see. That is gonna do it, I think. You know, I'm gonna go into the other. Another topic. I'll split them. That way, it'll be a different video. So, and I am going to practice. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. There's a little pointer. I assume I got to check on that. I'm assuming you ought to, yeah, you can see the pointer. So I could actually point to things with that. So I'm going to pause this in a minute. No, I'll just stop it. So this is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a portable things to do on the way to get here. All right. It's Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant.